TSMC has reportedly been ordered by the U.S. Department of Commerce to stop all sales and shipments of advanced AI chips to China as of Monday. The Taiwanese chip giant says they will not comment on what they call market rumors. Chris Gorin has been following these stories from Taipei and is live for us now. Chris, what do we know about this order?
Well, as you said, TSMC is responding to reports over the weekend that it will, quite suddenly, stop selling all 7-nanometer chips to China. And those are the chips that are used to train advanced AI models. And it was only Sunday where we learned that this decision may not have been made by TSMC alone, but may have actually come from an order from the U.S. Department of Commerce. And that's the part of the U.S. government that enforces export controls that are aimed at limiting China's advancement in technologies like AI. Now, I reached out to TSMC for a comment, and they sent me a brief statement which states that TSMC does not comment on market rumors. TSMC is a law-abiding company, and we are committed to complying with all applicable rules and regulations, including applicable export controls. So TSMC may not be acknowledging how they are complying with these export controls, but these export controls have been in place since October 2022. Those specific actions against other Chinese companies like Huawei go back even to the first Trump administration in 2019. Now, what is interesting about these reports is the timing. Just a few weeks ago, it was publicly known that TSMC chips that were supposed to be part of these export controls had been found in Huawei products. And of course, Donald Trump has just been re-elected in the U.S. presidential election, and his campaigns, both then and now, have put a real strong emphasis on restrictive trade policies, including tariffs, not to mention the actions that he had taken against Huawei back in 2019. Now, to learn more about how these export controls have been part of Washington's greater strategy, I spoke to Barath Harithas at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C., and I began by asking him, does he think that these export controls will continue to be part of U.S. tech strategy regardless of who is in the White House?
I think so. I think if you were to look back in history, and try to understand this sort of some pathological drivers of the U.S. national security psyche, even post-World War II, whenever there has been a pacing threat, a strategic or peer competitor, out comes out the economic containment textbook. They did it with the Soviet Union, they did it with Japan. So I think this is entirely a continuation of certain American tendencies, especially when it comes to maintaining technological leadership. And the reason for that is America has in many ways always squared off against a quantitatively larger adversary, first Soviet Union and China. And technology has always been that force multiplier that helps to deal with that strategic asymmetry. So I can understand certain acute sort of reasons for why US feels it needs to secure the technological leadership, but I think that genie is not going back in the bottle anytime soon.
Well, what about TSMC themselves? They're a private company. Is this going to hurt their bottom line?
So based on quarterly earning reports from TSMC, their Chinese exposure has been anywhere from 12 to 16%. Of course, we don't see the sort of subcategory breakdown of how much of those are advanced chips or not. TSMC, on the other hand, I think the impact of the export controls will be offset by the increased sales because of the AI revolution. Now, there's a huge demand for advanced chips from TSMC. Obviously, there will be some pain as a business. You want to sell as many chips as possible. So any loss is one loss too many. But then will this loss be fatal in any way or severely undermine their bottom line and ability to stay competitive? I think not for TSMC.
Now, as you heard from Barath there, TSMC may take a small hit, but it seems like everyone involved here, whether that's TSMC, China, or the United States, is getting used to the idea of an economic environment where export controls are a centerpiece of the U.S. grand strategy, won't be going away anytime soon.